never forget that the blues was the mother of it all.
Rock and roll did not start in Memphis, Tennessee in the mid-50s. Sam Phillips didn't start rock and roll. All we got to do is pull the records. Listen to Joe Turner's Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Listen to Fast Domino. All the guys that was recording back then. Bill Haley. This fella right here. Listen to that, and you will know right quick that nobody in the mid-50s started rock and roll. But we gave it a hell of a boost that sent it in the orbit and around the world.
How did we
So
do
that
that?
probably wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for what happened.
Sam Phillips, in my book, was not the innovator of nothing. I was there. I was there before, as they said, rock and roll. Who in the world said that Sam was the innovator of rock and roll? Who said that?
Yes, you asked me how did we let it happen. Now, when you and everybody you know came to Memphis, Tennessee, me, Carl, his brother, all of us, we were poor guys. So when it looked like that there was somebody there that might be in charge or maybe a little well off, might have more than we did, that's who we're going to look up to. It's that way today, Rufus. The deal is in this world today, we all got to live by the golden rule, and the people's got the gold makes the rule.
But it's the music that counts, and it's the music that made this town. And it was not rock and roll that made this town, Memphis. Well, never. It was the blues that made Memphis. I don't know who would say I'm wrong. In fact, I don't care.
I just want to say, if it wasn't for Sun Studio, very few of us probably be sitting here right now.
I know.
And Sun Studio opened the door for us a place to record the music that we had. Everybody in Memphis had a chance to bring their stuff. That I give Sam. I think it was great place. I know when I was a kid in high school, when I first went down there with my band, and we paid money just like Elvis to make a record. And that's where I met Billy Lee. Jack Clements heard me play and said, "Man, can you come and help us on some other stuff?"
Well, if you stop to think, Sam Phillips, 706 Union Avenue, you know how much damn talent come through that damn door, man?
And that's the greatest record label, in my opinion.
The label, yeah.
I mean, it's so recognizable. It's like the McDonald Arches. You see the Sun logo, you know it.
The studio itself, is known worldwide. In fact, it is the most famous recording studio in the world.
This is what gave me my boost. I made a name for myself as a sideman enough to where another company come in and took me as an individual artist. But I feel like whatever I've done over here at Sun kicked me off.
In my opinion, I have nothing against Sam Phillips. I love Sam Phillips, and he knows I do. But I don't like a lot of things he did to me back during that time, and I'm not going to blame him for it because I didn't have to stay. But I did because he was such a charmer, and he had a way of keeping you there.
But I have seen some good records lay on the shelf and die. And if you ain't got somebody that got a little sense about what he is putting out and how he's putting down, who he's getting it to, who's playing it, you can lose a record.
It's my belief. I think that when God was throwing out talent when this world was created, he dropped a heavy dose on Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, there is something more to this than recording studio, something more to this. I mean, it's not just an accident that you've got all these guys that came up through this area, and I can only relate to, I know you went to the same high school I did. You go to Tech High School? Right. And Elvis over at Hume's, and I don't know the black artists, the schools they went to, but I'm telling you, this wasn't just something that happened. I mean, this was like a God-given thing right here.
You don't have to tell nobody the record was cut in Memphis. They know it.
Well, anybody will tell you that today about the beginning of music in Memphis. If it didn't come from the Delta, which it did, or other places over in Arkansas, it all wound up right here on Beale Street. And from Beale Street and the blues came every other kind of music that you can think of. If you got jazz, the foundation of it was blues. So what we throw in here, whatever kind it is, never forget that the blues was the mother of it all.
When Elvis first got started, they'd take these records and burn them in the park and all that stuff, you know. Like you said, with devil's music, and they had to get rid of this stuff. And the disc jockeys would break records, and it just got awful, you know. But, you know, if they just listened to the records, there's not a curse word in none of his tunes. They're all just old songs, you know. Not like what they're doing today, you know. It's getting rough now, you know.
But I mean, it was still, you know, it was still introducing a kind of a lot of the music was still introducing a kind of what a lot of people would have considered to being a dangerous element, you know.
Well, they did.
Songs about drinking and going to juke joints. And all that.
Carl Perkins, I think, put the best name on the whole genre. Is that he said it's feel-good music. You feel good when you play it, you feel good when you sing it, and you feel good when you listen to it. And I think that just pretty much sums the whole thing up.
Yeah, but I still remember when I first listened to you guys, and when I was a little guy, and I was still a little thing in short trousers, and my dad looking at me with like real horror, you know, like, you know, I could like this stuff. And I mean, he didn't get behind it in the full guitar, but you know, that's so disapproval.
Kind of dangerous music.
Real disapproval, wasn't there? I mean, at school in England, you know, there was real disapproval. The teachers were real against it as well. From my school, I don't know about yours, but you know, if I was they'd find me in a rock band and you know, playing at a school party or something, and the teacher I might have known you'd be in there. You know, that kind of stuff.
You're that kind of guy, huh?
Yeah.
That kind of kid.
The slippery slope to damnation is just awaits, you know, and you're just gonna, you know that you're just gonna go down.
Yeah.
Well, to my Ruby Dugan on the assets test, she got high heels off, she was knocking down. Put a quarter in the jukebox to get a little beat. Everybody started rocking on the rhythm and the feet. She my rock and roll Ruby, rock and roll, rock and roll Ruby, rock and roll. When Ruby starts to rock and boy, it satisfies my soul.
Nobody could get that sound nowhere in the world. It was just impossible to get it. You couldn't do it.
It was a feel, wasn't it?
It was a feel. It wasn't produced. It was more. Everybody was. We were just all together when we'd go in on a session.
Well, a lot of it had to do with the acoustics of that room.
Yeah.
Which I didn't believe back when I was working for you. Everybody said you always said it has a great sound, all that stuff. I thought that was a crock, really. But when I came back here, 25, 30 years later with you two, back in that same room, and I built studios by then. I knew a lot about, you know, and I understood it then. It was a presence factor.
That's right.
It's kind of like there was very little separation in the room. Right. It all sort of went together, but in a very nice way. It was just a solid, very present kind of a sound.
Country pop, the vocalist was always way out here, way out in front of the band. And you used Elvis's voice like an instrument. You pushed it in there close, and it became another instrument. And then you didn't go in there and start. If you had leakage, and start scooping stuff away from it. You pushed them together.
The leakage is what made it work.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, one of the things was that we didn't have time pressures.
Yeah,
We'd go in there and work for long, long hours, but nobody cared. We weren't on the clock.
And we played like, you know, you were the audience. Like you were a bunch of people, you know. We didn't actually go in and try and play in a certain way. We played we were playing on stage, like we were on stage, it's live. And that's what I liked about the recording then, and I still like it. I don't particularly like the way you record now. You get a better sound, but I can't get that feeling.
And let me give you a caveat to that.
Had I gone on and subjected new artists, a new sound, to just being commercial, there would have been very little happen for me, let alone the artist. I stayed with what I believed, And I could have been just as wrong as it turned out that we were right. But I swear I stuck by it.
Well, you worked with what you had to work with. In fact, I remember one thing you said to me one time. You said you like to work with musicians who are learning.
Exactly.
They're just coming up and they're experimenting.
Stimulating
and you get the benefit of that experimentation.
Exactly.
And that was very true.
Absolutely.
And I think that was one of the big parts of that sound, that the musicians weren't so polished.
I agree with that. I mean, I agree with that. That's what makes the sound. We didn't know that much about music. I mean, we knew we had it inside, and but we couldn't express it like the guitar players do today. I knew 3 or 4 chords, and that was it, man. You know.
We didn't know all the things you couldn't do.
No.
So we went ahead and did them, and some of them worked. You know.
Groove and you love it.
Well, it's like Sam might not could tell you exactly what he was looking for, but he damn sure knew it when he heard it.
Right.
You know, I would put a woman down in a minute for a sound. Put her down. Is that a good way to describe it? But I had to have something that would make it sound like, you know, it's special. It's not perfect acoustics. It's live. It's you're there listening in person. I was playing around one day with this delay, and I happened to do that and leave it on playback. And I turned up the pot, and man, that thing sounded good. And then you just tack a little bit of shading of Elvis's voice and stuff like that. We had a sound, baby. I mean, a sound. Oh.
Well, I took my Ruby Cupid on the outskirts of town. She put the high heels on, the roller starting down. She put a quarter in the spot, get a little beat. Everybody started watching all the rhythm in the feet.